going to do it. Philadelphia takes the series over the Toronto Raptors.
Heartbreak on home court. The Toronto Raptors were looking to force a Game 7 in their first-round playoff series against the Sixers, but the dream was dashed. Philadelphia takes Game 6, and the Raps are eliminated from the playoffs. Good evening. I'm Kelda Yoon. Well, it wasn't for lack of trying. The Toronto Raptors have been on the brink of elimination for the past 3 games, and tonight they had all the momentum behind them, playing in front of an electric hometown crowd. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. The Philadelphia 76ers dominating the second half of the game, and in the end, it wasn't even close. Let's go live to Greg Ross at Scotiabank Arena. And Greg, quite the heartbreaker tonight. I'm sure a lot of sad faces coming out of Scotiabank tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, Kelda. This was a tough night for the Raptors. This was a tough night for their fans. There's no doubt about it. But it did look like the Raptors were going to put up a fight in this game early on. I mean, the first half was very close. It was back and forth. At times, the Raptors led. But by the time the half came around, they were down by just 1 point. So we thought this one was going to go down to the wire. But then it was that third quarter that really did the Raptors in. By the time the third quarter was over, the Raptors found themselves trailing by 21, and they would go on to lose big. 132-97 was the final score in this game. Now, the crowd inside Scotiabank Arena was loud. The crowd outside in Jurassic Park was loud. And even when the Raptors started to lose, this crowd stuck with this team until the bitter end. So the fans, they go home obviously disappointed, but with their heads held high.
You know what? You know what? We already got a W because we came back from 3-0 to 2-3, and we did Game 6 in the 6th.
We love this team. We die for this team, and I'm really proud of the guys because I know they're going to be back next year, and they're going to be even better. So
I'm telling you, it's going to be a good next season. I have faith.
Next year's the year.
You don't often hear fans celebrating after a tough loss like that, but obviously these fans have high hopes for the future of this team. Not quite the celebratory mood in the Raptors locker room after the game. They knew that this is a game that they probably should have played better in. As Kelda, as you said off the top, they did have the momentum going into this one with 2 straight victories, including a big win on the road in Philadelphia. They just couldn't get it done here tonight.
You got to give yourself a chance by executing your defensive schemes, right? And the last 3 games we did that, and tonight we didn't, right? Like we got to understand that stuff has to get done to give ourselves the best chance to win.
I think we fought hard, but obviously we didn't get the outcome that we wanted. But yeah, we just got to go back and learn from it.
You know, speaking of learning from this series, Doc Rivers, the coach for the Philadelphia 76ers, said that his team learned a lot. He said this was exactly the series they need as they now go on to face the Miami Heat in the second round. The Miami Heat, which includes former Raptor and I guess the greatest Raptor of all time, Kyle Lowry. So that's who they're going to be facing in the second round. But it was interesting talking to James Harden after this game. And here's what he had to say about this young Raptors team.
That was one of the toughest series I played in, just because of their switching and their athleticism and their length. I mean, they're a resilient team. They had injuries, guys in and out the lineups, and they just continue to fight, continue to find a way to stay in the game.
I think a lot of these players that are watching this Raptors team, led by rookie sensation and rookie of the year Scottie Barnes, believe that this team has a very bright future. You heard the fans say it. They're excited about the future of this team. This is just step one in what is usually a very long process, but the Raptors obviously off to a great start, Kelda.
So much, Greg. That's our Greg Ross live for us tonight. And the Toronto Blue Jays also playing today. They hosted the Red Sox in an afternoon game.
Base hit into left field. Gurriel around third, and he will come in to score on the RBI single by Kirk. And the Blue Jays have the lead.
A A 2-out grounder by Alejandro Kirk put the Jays up 1-0 over the Sox, and that one run is all the Jays would need. Pitcher Alek Manoah frustrated the Red Sox hitters all game, striking out 7 batters over 7 innings. The Jays take the 4-game series with Boston 3-1. The Houston Astros visit Rogers Center tomorrow. The Ford government has tabled its long-awaited budget, and it's now all systems go for the election campaign. The budget forms the backbone of what Doug Ford's PCs promise to do if they win the June 2nd election. Queen's Park reporter Mike Crawley has all the highlights.
As Doug Ford wraps up his first term as premier, he hopes this budget persuades voters to give him a second.
It's my honor to rise on behalf of Premier Ford and our entire government to introduce our 2022 budget.
In case there's any doubt this is more election platform than budget, the finance minister peppers his speech with words lifted from PC campaign ads.
It's a budget that says yes to rebuilding Ontario's economy.
And repeats the PC party's campaign slogan 10 times.
This is our plan, and we will get it done. It's time to get it done. Let's get it done.
Hear, hear.
Some numbers that catch the eye in this budget. A deficit forecasted almost $20 billion, actually higher than each of the past 2 years. Businesses are raking in profits. Corporate tax revenue is at a record high, jumping 25% in a year. And a sign of the red-hot real estate market, land transfer tax revenue jumped $2 billion in 1 year. Much of what's in the budget is not actually new, already revealed in a string of announcements by the Premier.
Doug Ford's going to go right back to cutting the minute this election is over if we give him the chance.
The PCs promised to spend almost $160 billion on building infrastructure over the next decade.
Clearly, the pandemic, Mike, has exposed some of the lack of investment I'm going to be very blunt, by the Liberals, supported by the NDP.
It's actually less than what the Liberals budgeted in their last capital plan.
This budget, this document, is completely lacking in the kind of ambition that I know that the people of Ontario have for our province and want to see for the future of our province.
The two new goodies revealed today: an expanded tax credit for low-income households, and for people aged 70 and up, a new tax credit for medical and home care expenses. What's not in the budget? Nothing to fulfill the promise Ford made last campaign to cut taxes for the middle class, and the phrase climate change gets mentioned once. This budget now means it's full steam ahead for the election campaign. The PCs clearly believe their winning formula is to promise to spend billions on highways, hospitals, and transit. And that's quite a shift for a party that came to power on a promise to rein in government spending. Mike Crawley, CBC News, Toronto.
And as Mike mentioned, there are two new items in the budget today that had not been previously announced. They're meant to put more money in the pockets of low-income people and seniors. Lisa Shing takes a closer look.
No bags. With the cost of food and just about everything else going up in the province, a promise from the Progressive Conservatives.
We believe the best way to help the people with the cost of living is to put a few extra dollars back in their pockets. Hear, hear.
The government is going to do that through two new measures in its latest budget. It will expand the low-income individual and families tax or lift credit to include 700,000 more people. It currently applies to people earning less than $38,000. If elected, the Tories will expand it to those who earn less than $50,000, and the phase-out rate will decrease from 10 to 5%. The maximum someone could get back would be $875. As a worker's income increases, the less they get back. This won't do much, according to the NDP.
There's a serious disconnect to offer them really a few extra dollars by increasing that number to 50,000 really is the bare minimum.
The budget also proposes a new tax credit for low-income seniors 70 and up who need dental work, hearing and walking aids. Those eligible for this credit will get up to a quarter of their medical expenses back, up to $1,500. The Liberals' biggest problem with this plan?
There's nothing in their plan to increase the number of seniors using home care in the province.
Regardless of the criticism, the PCs seem confident using this budget as their election platform.
This is our plan. This is the budget that we're tabling, and we'll get the people of Ontario to vote on that budget, and I have full confidence in the people of Ontario that they will pass this budget.
With just a week to go before the election campaign kicks off, these new measures ensure there's a little bit of something for everyone. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
A Durham food hub that supplies over 60 local charities was broken into last night. Feed the Need says the total value of stolen goods exceeds $90,000, including a new refrigerated van. Ardell Manukduk spoke to the CEO of the food hub tonight.
The boxes were all moved. This forklift, which normally stays here at night, was actually completely moved. It was over there in the warehouse. It had been driven.
Ben Earl's co-workers came to Feed the Need's Oshawa warehouse around 6 a.m.
As you walked through the warehouse, you could notice that things had been picked apart and things had been gotten into. You got into the warehouse office, and that's where the team really, they come in from the other side. That's where they first noticed that the office was disheveled.
There was damage to the garage door. Their office computers had been taken, as well as a refrigerated white Ford Econoline van that was added to the fleet less than 2 months ago. It was parked inside and driven down the ramp.
It took us almost 12 months to get that van in the first place. It's going to take us a while to get it back into our fleet, which hinders the plans and the work we had to expand our services over the next year.
All of the garbage bags were missing from this shelf, potentially filled with food and taken away, says Earl. The investigation is early. Durham police processed the scene and submitted evidence to forensics. They are also reviewing video surveillance from the area. The alarm was triggered and perhaps disarmed. Earl says whoever did it knew what they were doing.
So I kind of suspect people were watching and made some decisions about that. We also know, now tough times are tough for people and they're desperate. And when they're desperate and they make decisions like this.
Feed the Need in Durham is...
Feed the Need supplies food to places like Kendallwood Food Bank and New Life Neighborhood Center, among others. Earl hopes for the best and says Feed the Need will adjust and continue addressing food insecurity in Durham region. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Oshawa.
Meteorologist Nick Cernkovich joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And Nick, we hit double digits earlier today, but temperatures dipping tonight.
Well, Kelda, it's all about the temperatures. Last night hitting -2 degrees. We had that frost advisory in effect. Same story for tonight. We're seeing temperatures that are going to dip down to the 0 mark or even lower in some areas across the GTA. This afternoon, lucky enough to hit double digits, at least in some parts of the Golden Horseshoe. Toronto at 10 degrees, Hamilton at 11 degrees, St. Catharines at 10 degrees. This came with lots in the way of sunshine, and sunshine continues for the next couple of days. Clear skies tonight. If you see any cloud cover at all tomorrow, it's just going to be a little bit of thin high cloud cover. That'll clear out. And again, straight sunshine. This is the story carrying us right through until Saturday at least. Forecast for the next 24 hours looks like this. Again, frost advisory in effect for the GTA tonight. Temperatures in the city of Toronto down to 0 degrees with a wind chill of -3. Tomorrow, high of 14 degrees and lots of sunshine. That puts us pretty much on the seasonal mark. And we stay there for the next few. I'll have your full 5-day forecast coming up in just a bit.
Well, after 2 years of virtual celebrations because of the pandemic, Pride Toronto will be back this summer. Ali Chiasson now with a preview of what's in store.
Pride is going to be even louder and prouder this year.
Are you guys excited for Pride this year?
I mean, let's face it, you can't really get the whole experience of a Pride party from behind a laptop.
Let me hear some noise for the front of the dress. And now we're gonna do it. Let me hear some noise for the back of the dress. Yes, bitch.
Mayor, your response?
I don't want Boa to completely outshine me. I want you to have a look at, I can't say have a look at the front and have a look at the back. But I want you. I have a number of these ties and fashion, fashion accessories.
But really, Pride is more than a party. It's a message.
When you are there, you see this amazing crowd that represents everybody in the entire city coming out together to celebrate and to support and to express, just by being there, our values that we live by in the city.
So after 2 years of hosting a virtual festival, this Pride Month in June will see the return of the parade, including the trans and dyke marches, drag shows, concerts, and fundraisers, all in the name of LGBTQ2S+ visibility and support.
This year for Pride 2022, I'm working with an amazing team at Pride Toronto that is going to be bringing together a lineup that you have never seen before.
With Pride events for diverse groups from seniors to francophones to people who want to stay sober. There's something for everybody.
Everyone from the community will be able to see themselves represented, not just on the float, but in the programs that we're going to be delivering.
But one thing will remain the same as it has for the last 5 years, since Black Lives Matter interrupted the Pride Parade, bringing awareness to the distrust with police within the community.
For 2022, police will not be able to march in the parade.
Just over a month away now, Pride officially marches on.
It's like I feel it in the air, you know? It's like everyone is just ready to let loose and celebrate Pride and have fun. We're here, we're queer, and we're not going anywhere.
Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
Welcome back. Today is the day of mourning for workers who have been injured or killed on the job. It was marked by an unveiling of a statue in honor of 5 frontline healthcare workers who died during the pandemic.
My mom was a wonderful soul and amazing. And she's truly missed with her smile, her love, her caring soul.
The statue dedicated to the workers was unveiled outside the Service Employees International Union head office in Richmond Hill. One by one, family members and friends of the workers laid wreaths in their memory. Meanwhile, schools across Toronto marked Holocaust Remembrance Day.
I think it's critical that they understand not only what happened, but how it happened, how it came about, that they can see the signs around them.
For me, I'm looking to hear about the atrocity, but learn how I can use the pain that these families faced and that I'm going to experience when hearing the stories, and see how I can use that to harness my power and make a difference in the world.
Hundreds of students gathered at North Toronto Collegiate. They heard from one woman whose father survived the Holocaust when 6 million Jews were killed by the Nazis. Today's event comes just days after a report from Toronto police on hate crimes in our city. It found Jewish people were the most targeted group for hate crimes last year. The city of Ottawa is preparing for another big rolling protest. Hundreds of people on motorcycles are expected to thunder into the capital this weekend. There are fears it could turn into a repeat of the so-called truckers' protests earlier this year, but the city says it has learned its lessons. Rafi Buchkanyan reports.
Ottawa police say they've got measures in place so this doesn't turn into this. A 3-week occupation of the downtown core in Parliament Hill.
We have a plan and a policing response that will ensure safety on our streets as we move through the weekend.
That includes a ban on vehicles parking and stopping in some of the downtown core, and RCMP and Ontario Provincial Police on the ground with local officers.
That is certainly a lesson learned from last time. The tone also that police are taking, I'm encouraged by, in that they are taking a zero tolerance approach to any unlawful behavior, including breaking of our bylaws, any illegal activity.
Rolling Thunder Ottawa is still a go.
Neil Sheard describes this biker rally as a veteran's salute to the National War Memorial. The group's website lists a second event, a protest and march by another group featuring anti-mask activist Chris Sky. He faces multiple charges, including for threats made to the lives of all premiers, as this winter's memories linger for Ottawa residents.
Last time we were out here, my friends and myself were walking down the street and they were ripping off masks off our face.
Well, it's difficult to not be concerned.
In fact, police say they've already made an arrest, someone who violated bail conditions asking them not to be in the city. The question now whether the weekend will unfold as peacefully as organizers have promised. Rafi Buchkanyan, CBC News, Ottawa.
And you are looking at a live shot of the Toronto skyline, mostly clear tonight, and it will stay that way through the overnight. Temperature similar to last night, a cool 3 degrees in this city right now. Let's go back to Nick now with a look at your extended forecast. And Nick, more sunny days ahead.
Well, Kelly, yesterday I promised you the sunshine, and we got it today. We're actually going to hang on to that sunshine for the next couple of days. but we still have another cold night to contend with. Frost advisories yet again in effect for the GTA as temperatures dip to the 0 mark or below. Sunshine, though, right through till Saturday, and then a bit of a shift in our weather pattern for Sunday as we usher in some showers, and those showers will stick around for a few. So enjoy the sunshine while it lasts. Here's a look at the forecast across the region. Tomorrow morning, sunny skies. That follows clear skies tonight. Same story as we head through tomorrow night into Saturday. We've got an approaching system that kind of makes its way into southwestern Ontario late Saturday into Sunday. Gets to the GTA, though, for Sunday. And this one, you can see it just off the edge of your screen there. It's going to bring with it some rainfall. So rain showers for Sunday if you've got outdoor plans on the weekend. Saturday, definitely the better of the 2 days. Also a bit breezy. The last couple of days we've seen wind gusts up around 40, even 50 kilometers per hour. That continues and then sort of peters out tonight. Tomorrow, generally speaking, light winds in the neighborhood of about 10 to 15 kilometers per hour, and that'll be the story into the weekend. This as we sit under high pressure across southern Ontario. For southwestern Ontario tonight, look at temperatures down to about -2 to -4 degrees, wind chills in the neighborhood of -3 all the way down to -6. The winds themselves are not going to be that strong, but it doesn't take much to drop the wind chill once you get into these even minus single digits. So chilly weather down there. As for the Golden Horseshoe, similar story. Temperatures anywhere from about 0 in the downtown core to about -4 degrees out toward Oshawa and Markham. Wind chills as low as -6 tonight. Tomorrow, 14 degrees, pretty close to the seasonal mark. Seasonal actually 15 degrees, and we'll hit that on Saturday. Look for increasing cloud cover and showers on Sunday, and then it looks like a bit of sort of on and off shower activity from Sunday through till at least mid next week. Kelda.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Nick. Canadian Jeopardy sensation Matea Roach.
42,001 today alone, and an 18-day total of $438,183. You look like you can't believe it. You look happy. I can't believe it.
Canadian Jeopardy sensation Matea Roach extending her historic run on the show with her 18th straight win tonight. Now, with tonight's win under her belt, Roach now has the 8th highest total for consecutive wins on the program. She'll go for her 19th win tomorrow night. Just incredible. And that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great one.